I'm sure we can all relate to an SP reacting and behaving in the exact same way and not visibly shifting no matter how much effort is put in, how much you're affirming. And the reason is really it all starts with you. I am going to talk today in this video about why you actually have all the power to change everything about your relationship and your specific person, because they are not just reacting to what you're doing, they are reflecting you and your beliefs. Hey guys, welcome to another video. Welcome to any new viewers. This is about your specific person and their behavior, turning everything around into the positive. It's going to be a deep dive into how to actually implement your mindset whilst manifesting beyond just using your affirmations. So if this sounds interesting to you and something that you think you might need some support or reassurance with, then please do keep watching. I have so many amazing points and advice to give you guys today. Please do consider giving a thumbs up, subscribing to my channel, clicking the notification bell as well right below the screen. It's all quick, easy, and free for you guys, but it means a lot to me and helps me out on YouTube. And obviously you guys get benefit from that as well in terms of getting content and advice on manifestation. If you want to take that extra step and you actually want to invest a little money in your manifestation because maybe you need that support, I offer one-to-one coaching services. Everything is linked below, popping a couple things on screen as well, or join the below button to become a member, where you can also subscribe and everything. But yeah, membership offers everyone a chance to vote on what content they want to see. Lots of exclusive SP related content. I'm just about to film and launch my video this month just for members, and yeah, last month's SP video was a success, so thank you guys very much. Do take a look, and now let's get started. Your SP isn't just acting of their own accord and doing whatever they want and choosing to behave a certain way. They're reflecting you. As I said at the beginning of the video, they're not just reacting. It's not a reactive state or choosing to consciously behave poorly towards you or whatever it may be the case. They are responding to you. They are basing everything as a reflection of you. It's a mirror reflection. That is the principle tying into Neville Goddard's work and advice and the concept of how the law of assumption comes into play. So it's our inner assumptions that shape everything about what you experience with your SP, whether it's a relationship right now or not. So the beliefs that you have about yourself, because although I have stated this a lot, your self-concept isn't going to just manifest your specific person for you into a relationship, because it is a specific person, but your self-concept and obviously the beliefs therefore you have about yourself do reflect, they do tie in. If you don't value yourself or feel worthy or hold yourself to a somewhat high regard, where at least you feel balanced and somewhat confident and worthy of a healthy, happy relationship, then, or you view yourself really poorly, then yes, that is a mirror reflection you will experience from your SP. But yeah, so generally, sometimes self-concept work is needed to help you prevent negative thoughts about yourself and holding yourself back from being able to have that relationship. But mainly it's also your beliefs, obviously, about them, about the actual relationship, whether it fully exists in the physical reality or not. I know people do say, but I'm manifesting someone I don't know. It doesn't matter. Manifestation works the same way. Not knowing them and not having contact is just a circumstance, but it's whatever you believe about the relationship, whatever assumptions you have, and you don't have to consciously believe them yet. But what's going on in the subconscious, that's what's reflecting. So you have to just be careful about what you're thinking and feeding into your mind and holding in place and reaffirming. Because if you think that they don't commit or they won't commit, they're not going to commit. They're not committing. You're holding it back. It's not permanent. It's not objective. But if you repeat that to yourself, if that's your current assumption, you need to be aware of that and work through it, because you're holding it back. You can't say affirmations that are the opposite of that and then still feed into your mind with your conscious thoughts that they're not committing. So a few common things that you might think to yourself or believe, especially along the way with manifesting when you get triggered and you're reacting to what's going on around you, is things like, maybe I've messed things up, or they're not conforming quickly, or why are they being hot and cold? Why did they say this thing to me? And then you spiral and go down a rabbit hole from there, whether it's just holding on to an assumption or literally overanalyzing, where they said 3 words to you and then suddenly now they're married with kids in another country. Like, we need to be careful with our thoughts and not to let ourselves get completely triggered and spiral, because yes, it can be easy if you overanalyze and you hold on to the patterns that you've had up until now that created these negative assumptions. So it's all about your inner assumptions reflecting outwards and understanding there are common thoughts and beliefs and assumptions that your conscious mind might be repeating and you're not really fully aware of it. But these are really just learned patterns and reactions and behavior on your part. And obviously your SP reflects all of that. So it's not even that the focus is on, oh, look at how they behave, look at what they say, because it all starts with you. So if you get to the root of the issue, you don't need to treat the symptoms, right? The symptoms being how your SP behaves currently, just in the 3D reality. And everything will catch up, but I'm going to get into that specific point a little later in this video. So it's about unlearning those patterns, behaviors, the thought patterns specifically that you maybe have unconsciously and, you know, kind of subconsciously held on to and have now become automated thought patterns. And that's something I work through with my clients a lot as well, of really being able to catch on, okay, chances are you've been thinking this, and, you know, is this the kind of reaction, or you look at this in the 3D, and usually that is the trigger point for people where they feel, you know, they just react, they mentally react to what they're seeing around them externally. So you need to be aware of those kind of patterns being built up and then undoing that. So you're affirming consciously, you're persisting, you're obviously, if you're watching this video, you have a general idea of manifestation at least. You know about affirmations, about what manifesting is and how it's to do with the mindset and, you know, creating everything internally before it reflects externally. And if you're affirming consciously, that's great. You probably know what you should be doing and are on the right track, but you're probably mentally contradicting it. So the reason for this section why, you know, your SP hasn't shifted yet and reflected what you want yet is that you're going back to the old story. You're going back to lack. You're going back to, well, look at the 3D reality, not, oh, this is me mentally in the end result. You're saying, no, I'm taking myself out of that and coming back to the physical reality, because look at what the physical reality shows. These are things that you want to be aware of, because to get the full movement and the visible movement and really speed up your manifestation without these logical, rational hurdles coming up, you need to be aware of, well, what am I thinking throughout the day? You know, where are my thought patterns? Okay, I spent 30 minutes affirming, but then also, where is my mindset going? If I'm struggling, if I'm not seeing a shift, what thoughts am I thinking that have led to this? You know, kind of reverse engineering it and saying, oh, do you know what? This triggered me, or every time I go on social media, this happens, or I feel this. And recognizing that, because that's going to create those negative thoughts that come up and the assumptions that keep coming back up, because you're not staying predominantly in the end result. So something reassuring, but that also ties into this, is that your SP reflects your dominant focus, your dominant thoughts. So that's why I say, you know, inner conversations and getting into patterns of, and well, habits of repeating things as if it's happening now, you know, getting ready for a date. Oh, I just got this amazing text from them, you know, whatever it might be. They're not going to reflect the occasional thought. They're going to reflect dominantly, generally, where your focus is, where your persistence and repetition has focused, not, you know, panicking and over analyzing the 3D reality. But what it should be is, you know, the end result, looping your affirmations. Maybe it's just in the form of a mental diet as well. It doesn't have to be the act of inner conversations. It can be more of a schedule of, I'm looping my affirmations now throughout the day, and then I'm just going to catch the negative thoughts where I can and apply a mental diet. That's as simple as it can be if you want. Remember that you don't need to panic and worry, because it's not every single thought or one concern that comes up or one random negative thought. That's okay. Don't hold yourself back or try to overanalyze or panic about, you know, are you doing this correctly? If you're putting in the effort and you are trying your best to persist and stay on track, that's all you can really do. So I would ask you guys, what is your go-to thought about your SP? If I were to ask you right now, what's a common thought or what's your common reaction that comes up if I mention your SP and you were to think about them right now? What would you think? Is it positive or negative? Or throughout the day when you're reminded of them, or just generally where you're at right now? What would that thought look like? So is it positive? Does it tie into the end result? Is it at least somewhat positive or hopeful, or tying into how manifestation works? That is going to show you where you're at right now and maybe where your dominant focus still lays. It could potentially be negative, or maybe it's just a sign, okay, I need to work a little more on my mental diet, or oh, maybe it's looking at their social media because I get this negative thought that ties into that every time, and disengaging from that a little bit, because you don't need to monitor their social media, right? But basically every time that assumption comes up, you want to repeat your affirmation. Tie it back into your mental diet, take back control and say, nope, this automatic reaction that I've had, this thought that is from the old story, I'm no longer holding on to that. I'm getting rid of that, and I'm going to repeat the positive now. Because that repetition is literally going to shift your own inner focus. And therefore, as I said, they will have to mirror reflect that back to you. So whatever you focus on and you start to assume and you work on unraveling the negatives and replacing it with positive, they have to start reflecting no matter what. Also, remember that you don't need to see that movement. It's always preceded, and the visible shift and end result coming into your physical reality is always preceded by your inner reality, your inner work and focus. So again, just putting in the focus onto your own mindset. So all of this will lead to you realizing and really experiencing a detachment from, what they're doing, their behavior, their actions, putting that focus back on you, back on your mindset, just back on your life. So you're less obsessive over them. The way they behave with you is going to improve. The conversations you have, the level of communication, all these things will develop and improve. And those will be the signs that you're on the right track. You've done the work. This is literally your manifestation coming in. So when you do see a delay in your 3D reality, the result is that, first of all, that's natural, but it's up to you to just keep persisting. The movement is coming in, but the 3D reality follows on from, your inner focus and persisting with shifting your own mindset and thinking we're together. SP is committed to me. SP is basically behaving exactly how I want. That precedes your 3D reality, and therefore there is a delay. It's not an instant shift usually in most cases, even if it's just a couple of days, literally like 48 hours maybe. But yeah, remember that the 3D reality is going to have a little bit of a delay. As long as you persist, everything's on track. So basically all you need to do is keep persisting until they mirror reflect back to you what you want through their words, their actions, the way you can see that they feel towards you, all these things. That's going to reflect and show you where you're at. You've put in the work. This is your end result literally here in your physical reality. And if it's not here yet, that's okay. Nothing's wrong. You just need to keep persisting. That's pretty much the answer. So I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you guys found this useful and beneficial. If you did, please do thumbs up, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and I will see you next time. Bye.